And welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
We had to start twice. We're back. I said we're back, and it's summertime.
Yeah.
At least
In
here.
Phoenix.
I got in my car today, and it said 103. It was because it was sitting in the sun, but Google
It's
said only
95.
91. But
It's supposed to be 95 today.
it's gross.
Yeah, and at my brother's house in New Mexico, 3 inches of snow yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I
Oh
mean,
my gosh.
yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Well,
one of the accounts I follow on, I don't know, Instagram or Facebook or whatever.
Scissors. Eve
They-
never has scissors.
There was a, this, it's a cat account. So this cat was like, on the cat tree and the window beyond, there's like all kinds of snow on the ground.
Oh
It's
my
like,
gosh. Not here.
nope.
Yeah, not here. And honestly, that's why I live here.
You don't have to
I just-
shovel snow.
right,
Sunshine.
Right, but I kind of didn't expect it to be so hot so soon.
So soon. I
Yeah.
hope it cools back down.
Yeah, because last week we were wearing sweaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
so in the
sweaters
morning,
for us is like 70, 75.
I this morning I wore a sweater and I wore it all through work because the office is always cold. So then I walk out and I was like, "What's wrong? Something's wrong." And it was just because it was so hot out. I was like,
And
"Oh my gosh."
and when I go to Walmart, I forgot to take my parka last time, and I was so cold that I finally just said, "Okay, I don't need anything else. I'm too cold."
Yeah, I was comfortable until I crossed over to where the pet products are, and it's close to the
refrigerated
stuff.
You
And
know-
I was like, you could feel the cold air it's always a kind of a crapshoot, whenever you go into a restaurant or a store or something, because they've got their air conditioning cranked up, whatever. But yeah, so it might be, the hotter it is outside, the colder it is inside. So
Yeah, but at Walmart, it's always
it's
cold.
always
always
cold.
cold.
there.
It's always
Yeah.
cold.
Well, I watch Arne and Carlos. They're from Norway, and they're like, everyone thinks it's always cold here. But one of the things Arne said, that they did a tour of the United States, and in the summer, and he said he was so uncomfortable with the air conditioning.
Yeah.
Like because in order to keep, and this happens in Phoenix all the time, in order to keep those big box stores cold. They have to blast it. So either the big box stores are roasting hot because there's not enough air conditioning, or they're a complete freezer box.
Joann's, not enough air
Yeah.
conditioning.
Walmart, too much.
Especially if you need to go to the bathroom in Joann's.
Well, I remember when
I wonder if they keep it that hot in there so you won't linger.
Maybe.
I remember when we went to the music festival of Florida in Sarasota, and it was so cold in the hall, the performance hall. But I remember there being an issue with the pianos, with the intonation of the pianos, because they keep it cool because of the because of the weather, and then the pianos are like frozen
Suffering,
and whatever.
yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, and there's also the humidity.
Wow.
So
yeah.
Jen and I used to always take sweaters whenever we wanted to go to the movie theater. And right next to the movie theater, it was like a dollar theater. It was a theater that had been turned into a movie theater. And they had little tables or something in front. And the lights weren't even completely dim because you could buy the snacks right in the same area.
I think you took me there. This is in Florida.
Yeah, and right next door was a restaurant called Jungle Jim's. And instead of, how at Hooters, little tiny shorts and very small tops for the girls, well, this was the opposite. The guys were wearing tight, like khaki type shirts, like safari type of thing, and very tight small shorts.
Oh no.
And these were mostly muscly men,
Yeah.
And one day we went right before or after the theater, so we had sweaters, but I was freezing. And I see a guy, one of the wait staff, he's going like this because it was so cold, right? And I'm like,
I hate
It is
eating
too
when
cold.
I'm cold. I cannot.
it's too cold. If the
stand
wait
it.
staff is freezing, it's too cold
Yeah.
because they're moving around, you
Yeah.
know. Anyway, we digress.
Yes, well.
Yeah.
Beth is
Beth is going
I'm
first.
going first. I'm just
Wait. Let me finish this thread.
I'm just anchoring this thread here because it's. I've gotten to the fiddly part of this pattern.
Oh, like one stitch here, one
Yeah.
stitch there.
Ugh, yeah. Okay. So all month long, I've been working on my March WIP-GO thing because I had a new start for number 15, whatever. So I had started the March Rabbit. So I'm trying to do every month. So here it is, and I finished it. And I had on my WIP-GO thing 10 days, and I finished it in 8.
Yes.
So yeah.
My dog had
Alright.
this in her mouth.
Oh no.
It's like, what are you doing?
So I'm gonna I'll show a picture of it so you can see it up close, but it's right there.
Oh, wow,
very
you
cute.
finished. So how many of those have you finished now?
Just January and this one. And this I'm working on February right now. Let me pull this thread through here so you can see.
Oh, so January and March, and that's
Yeah.
February.
And this is February.
Well, she's pulling her thread through. Oh,
Yeah.
no, she's done already.
This is February. I'm almost finished with it. I worked on it last month, but I had 4 things going on there.
Oh.
I had the 2 WIP-GO projects, which are still unfinished. But if I finish this today, which I shall probably, I have a couple of days, the end of the month to finish, to do, 2 more days on each of those projects. So, I can theoretically finish those, or do 10 days on
Hit
each
your
of
goals.
them. Yeah, hit
Yeah.
my goals. But so like I told my sister, I'm sort of at the fiddly stage with this one now, because I have just the insides of the bunny's ears and their little tails, like 2 stitches for their tails, and then there's some flower pots in the inside middle of the hearts. Whatever, there's like these 1 stitch, 2 stitches of this like golden squash color, but all the main parts
That's
are
pretty.
done. Yeah, there's bunnies and hearts, and it's a lot more
Cute.
stitching than you
Than it
realize.
looks,
Than
yeah.
some of the others are. Some of the others are just like
Sparse.
this March one is they're bigger.
Solid.
Yeah, so you
sections.
do a lot of stitching, but they're
But it's easier.
yeah, it's easier. There's not as much, like in this one, I don't know how many times I started it and I had to pull the stitches out and just do it again because I miscounted 1 square or whatever. So then next month in April, along with whatever is called for WIP-GO, I have the April rabbit, and look, these are big bunnies.
Let me see. Oh yeah.
So
Hey, chocolate bunnies.
Chocolate
Yeah.
bunnies.
They look
yeah, so
yummy.
I picked this fabric.
They'll look pretty.
These are all on Murano Carré. They're 32 count.
They'll look beautiful on that.
Yeah, so I think that'll work on this one. I did a floss toss with all these floss colors, and I think it'll work well on here.
Explain to people what a floss toss is.
Floss
what's a floss
toss
toss?
is where you take all the floss that is called for in this particular pattern, and you lay it on the fabric to make sure that everything's going to show up. And it's a little bit deceptive sometimes if you're not careful about putting however many threads. If you're gonna stitch with 1 thread or 2 threads, whatever, to put only 1 or 2 on the fabric to see how they'll show up, because they may look good when you have the whole skein on there.
Yeah.
But then not show up as well when you only have 1 or 2 threads on there.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of make sure that they're gonna show up. And I was a little concerned about the red and orange of these flowers, but I think, or orange yellow, I should say, orange and yellow, but I think they'll show up. They seem to show up well on there. So So that's my April rabbit. And the last couple of days I've been working on an idea I have. I want to. I'm working on a pattern for a young lady that is in my Bible study group. She had mentioned she had a stillborn child not too long ago, I guess. I don't know. She's pretty young, so I don't think it was, that long ago. And I don't know that she has any other children since then. But it's something that she, it's obviously an issue that she struggles with. Yeah,
sure.
something's, she
It's gonna
pain
hurt
that she
her the
carries
rest of
with.
her
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
And so, and she kind of like almost apologized in a way, like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Now I keep bringing this up, but blah 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 blah." And I thought, that's not something you need to apologize for. But anyway, so it kind of struck me that I want to stitch something for her, and so I'm currently thinking about these are little bookmarks that they have at Hobby Lobby. They're just and
I think I have some of those.
yeah, I have, and I have some long bookmark kind of things that are like edged with. I think I have 3, and I think 2 are blue and 1 is green, or 2 are green and 1 is blue, whatever. But I looked for them and I can't find them. Yeah, so I bought these at Hobby Lobby recently. So
I'm surprised you didn't find them as soon as you bought those. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah,
Right.
I probably will. But so the only problem with these is that they're only like I think 28 stitches by I think 94, 95, whatever. So I have to. So I did buy a few other things to finish on. If I can't really make these work, but I think I can. I've been fiddling around with the design that I have in mind. And really, I'm just like, I just have like a backstitched verse, and then I'm trying to come up with a lamb. And I did one sort of rudimentary one, but I think I'm going to try to tweak it a little bit to
I
make
liked
it a little,
I saw it. I thought it was cute.
a little fluffier looking or something. And maybe put like a vine and some hearts or something, just little things, little details around it. So I've been working on that a little bit to try to come up with something in that regard. And then the other thing, last week I had talked about some stuff I had bought at 123 Stitch, and I jokingly said, that it'll probably come in the mail as soon as I'm finished with my update. And of course it did. So, and I forgot actually some of the stuff that I bought. Because that's the way I am.
You bought me some scissors.
So, I forgot that I bought these scissors. I thought it was another pattern that I bought, but it was a pair of scissors. So they're just DMC scissors, but they have peacocks.
Let me see.
They have peacocks instead of stork.
Oh, that's
Really
pretty.
pretty.
Let me see.
Yeah. So the reason, of course, that I went on 123 Stitch was I was looking for these Threadworks flosses that are called for one of the patterns that I bought last at the attic. And they're really pretty. I'm not going to take them out of because there's a whole bunch of them, but there's like 5 of them. They're for that that one with the black sheep.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
Mm-hmm. So so I got that, and then I bought the raccoon, which is the next Cottage Garden Samplings A Year in the Woods. This is number 4.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it cute?
Yeah.
Oh, I love his tail.
So I have the jackrabbit, the swan,
That's a 3-syllable word
fox.
when it's cute enough. Tail. It's
and
so
the raccoon.
cute.
Yeah, look at his little hands.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. And then, and I don't know why I bought these, but they were so cute I couldn't pass them up.
You're a sucker.
Gnomes. One is a bee, and one there's a gnome with a little gnome in a wheelbarrow. And this one is wearing a little bee costume, kind of.
I'm stealing these. Oh, with glass beads.
Yeah, there's beads and there's a little charm. So this guy has a little key charm, and this guy.
Oh, I like this one.
This little bee on his hat has a little.
I need this one. Mark just bought a wheelbarrow, so it's very apropos. Oh my gosh, that's cute. It's like a little ornament.
Yeah, sort
It
of.
has
Yeah,
a little string.
yeah, and it's on
refrigerator magnet.
Yeah, it's on it's on perforated paper. You can make it into a magnet if you want
Why,
to.
didn't it come with one?
There's a lot of beads.
Yeah,
It's a charm.
Oh wow.
yeah. It comes.
What
with
I'm doing is a magnet.
This one has a little charm on the hat.
It's so cute.
This
I
little-
see the string is beaded. The little hanging string. See right here with beads.
Oh yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah, charmed ornaments.
Oh yeah, I see the beads. Oh yeah, it's lots of beads. That's so cute. I love it.
Yeah, so these are both on perforated
I heard
paper.
somebody on a floss tube say, every time I do a Mill Hill kit, I say I am never doing it again because there's so much beading on it. And she goes, and then I look at it and it's so pretty. And I'm like, okay, I need another one.
Well, you know, I have a thing that has all the patterns that I've stitched in the past, all going all the way back. But in the past I did a Mill Hill kit, I think, because I have like some kind of it was a little apple, I think, and I have some beads left over.
You just
and
didn't know what it was.
I just do not remember doing it at
Ever
all.
having it or getting it.
Yeah, I have the leftover beads, and I think I have the pattern or something, but I have no recollection of doing it. And I guess I know that there was a time when I did like several little patterns we had like a secret pal exchange thing at either at church or at work or somewhere. I don't know. And so I did a whole bunch of little, little cross stitch things, and I think that's what that apple was for. Because, like I said, I don't remember giving it to anybody in the family or, whatever.
Those gnomes are cute.
But yeah, so.
I like that.
And I don't know when or how or what I'm ever going to do anything like that. But, I thought, oh, and like I had gone to 1-3 Stitch to look for the Threadworks thing, and all those things were on sale. The little, I was like, oh. So,
wow.
yeah. I have a whole, actually, like I had talked about on my update, that for Mania, I may end up just starting a whole bunch of things.
Oh yeah,
because I have all those patterns, and so
that's fun.
we'll see how that goes.
Are you done? Is that everything?
But
for
I
you?
think that's everything. Yeah.
Okay. I shall go next. I have a finish. It's one of my own patterns. Right now it's just called Pink because I don't need to really name it yet. And it is along the lines of this turtle. And it's got a front and a back. And this is just like a little pillow, like a pin keep or something. Oops, that's the back. Right here. This is like a scissor fob, kind of thing. So you can finish them however. This is a bunny.
Cute.
These are on the on our Etsy shop right away. Already, and this will be eventually when I decide how I want to finish it.
It's cute.
Is that the back?
That's flamingo. Yeah.
It's both.
Oh no! I mean, I was looking at the back of the stitching.
She couldn't tell if she was looking at the front or the back.
Yeah, this is the back.
Yeah.
I wouldn't show up.
I didn't know if you had it.
No.
Is it not?
Was that where they tied the?
Yes,
They connected it. Yeah. So it's just two little flamingos. it's not like two flamingos. It's two flamingos and then the back of the two flamingos, so it's reversed. This one doesn't show like the rear end.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't have flamingo butts on there.
But I saw somebody, there was a pattern that came out, like I think for market, which had a front and a back like that. And the back was the kitty's rear end, going away. It was funny. It was adorable.
Oh, this
Anyway.
isn't a knot, I don't think. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yes, you do. But so
Yeah, I'm
that's
gonna
a
interrupt
little
you all there.
a little finish. And then I fully finished Honeybee. And because I was working on that, remember I said did I show this? I bought this bee.
You showed that, but it was unfinished.
It was unfinished. So when
Cute.
I have them, I posted them online, picture with this together. They look so cute together. They were up on the piano. So figure out which way is off. I did something weird. Yeah, because if you don't actually turn it off, it drains the battery. So anyway, I'm really happy with the way that came out. And I'll show my mini haul here in a minute. Right now, I'm working on Halloween Gnomes by Ursula Michael for imaginating. That word bothers me. Imaginating is not a word. Well, actually, I heard somebody say, and they were talking about the English language, that if somebody speaks it as a word, it becomes a word. So it
I
is a
just
word.
watched The Professor and the Madman, all about the Oxford Dictionary and how they decided how they were going to define words.
Mm-hmm. So
they would argue.
But
with it.
imaginating isn't a word. But so it kind of bothers me every time that's not a word. But it is the name of a company. It's not a word, but it's the name of a company. So Halloween Gnomes, and this is my WIP-GO number 21, and I am supposed to be working on it for 10 days. I think this is the 7th day, and I don't think I'm going to make it. But I'm going to try. I'm going to keep trying. I'll plug it away. And it's very cute. I went ahead and did the back stitching on the first guy right away. I'm trying to put this needle so I don't poke myself again. So, it gives you that momentum, oh, look, he's so cute.
And then you don't have to do it later.
And then I don't have to go back and do it, yeah. So I was using my WIP-GO thing to track my line, because this little hat has this little, it's not like you can just go like that and fill in, it's got this little dot here and this little dot there and this little dot here. I'm like, what line am I on? No. So then, the next of this Sal, this mystery Sal, the next piece is supposed to be coming out tomorrow.
Is it Narnia?
Yeah, this
In
is
Narnia.
Narnia. I'm further along, almost done with the first piece of it, but I have been doing so many other things. Not sewing. I didn't even look at my sewing machine this week. I don't know what's wrong with me. Well, we were really busy. But anyway, all I have left to do is to finish this little icon over here that looks like this one. And there's a few more dots underneath the Narnia. You know how it's like dripping down the words? Because the ice is melting.
Oh.
See? So there's a few more of those right there, and then another stripe like this top stripe to be done with the first section. I haven't even started the second section, but
And the third one's coming out?
the third one should be out tomorrow. But I knew I probably wasn't going to be keeping up with it, but
That's okay.
I really wanted to do it. Now, these little things up here, these little dots, they are supposed to have like little backstitch branches or something on them, but I'm going to do the backstitching all at once.
Later.
because
Later days.
I don't know how it works for other people, so maybe I'm doing something wrong. But in Pattern Keeper, it does not show me backstitching.
Huh. That doesn't seem right.
It's annoying,
That's weird.
especially if there's a lot of backstitching.
Because what if you only buy it, if you buy it digitally, then you have to then refer to the PDF itself?
Mm-hmm.
That's bad. Maybe you should
Well, you
look
can
that
call
up.
up. You can call up the PDF in Pattern Keeper,
Oh, I see.
and you can always print it. So,
Maybe, is there an overlay maybe? Does it turn it into an overlay?
not that I found. Like I said, I don't know.
If you
maybe
know
I'm doing
Pattern
it wrong.
Keeper and she's doing something wrong, leave it in the comments because we need help. She needs help.
Yeah. So, and we do appreciate
Yeah.
all of our new subscribers. You guys are fantastic, and all the comments that we've been getting
It's so much fun.
lately, yeah, it's really fun. We have a new subscriber who actually lives in my old hometown, and I have just had so much fun, texting back and forth with her. Well, not texting; she's commenting, I'm commenting back.
That's
It's like
fun.
a text. So I'm still working on spring berries, Erica Michaels pattern spring berries. I am working on, is it spring yet? Here, it is definitely past spring. Although, and I'm going to insert a picture here. My father's hyacinth is blooming.
No, hibiscus.
Hibiscus.
Yeah, hyacinth.
Why did I say hyacinth?
'Cause
I'm
it's-
always using the wrong word. It's a hibiscus.
And when he walks by it, he says, hibiscus.
and it looks so
beautiful.
beautiful. The blooms are huge this
Yeah,
year.
it's like as big as your face.
I bought it for him a year ago, just Tim to have something to take care of, and putter around, do stuff. And it looked beautiful, and then it looked really sad. And he had the guy that comes to do our yard plant it, and it is now blooming, and
It's
it
doing
looks
very
beautiful.
well. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so here it is. So far, is it spring yet? And I will take a picture because I know you can't see it. So the I was dithering back and forth about the colors because I wanted some of the colors to match, so they kind of go together with the other berries, and I had changed the colors there. And so I've decided to do the flower lines in the greens that I've used on Hop into Spring. And so that is pistachio, Weeks Dye Works, and Mountain Mist, which I believe is a Gentle Art color, but it might be Weeks Dye Works. I don't know. I have it here somewhere. No, I don't. Yes, I do. But anyway, the word yet that goes right in here, you can't see it here, so I can't show it to you.
Oh, because
It's only in the
It's
pattern.
underneath
It's
the-
cut off.
yeah.
But let me show you guys. Does that look like a G to you?
Yes, when I first looked at that pattern
That-
the other
It's
day,
like, is it spring get?
it's because it's trying to be a fancy Y.
Yeah.
Just
So-
eliminate that one dot
Or
put it
put it
above
on the other side.
Well, I thought I would just have this side lower, just eliminate
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
dot.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to say, is it spring get? I want it to say, is it spring
I
get?
thought that I meant to tell you
I
that
love-
last
I
week.
love
it
these-
looks like the how that has it on the E.
Yeah, well,
But
they
it
have
just
all these
doesn't
little,
work.
they have all
Yeah.
these little flourishes here and
Yeah.
there, and that's okay. But on that Y, it's just
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Especially,
It doesn't work for me. If you
Yeah.
did yours that way, more power to you. Everybody's has to make theirs themselves. But once I saw it as a G, I couldn't unsee it as a G.
Yeah.
So-
it has a little the Y has so it's like this, and then the Y has a little dot this way. So it makes it
It
and
makes
especially
it
'cause
curve
it's so
around.
small.
Yeah.
It makes it look like the top of a G. So I agree
And-
with you. And I saw that last week when I was looking at the patterns, and I meant to say something to you, and I totally forgot. But I agree with you. You should leave it off.
It's like
And
my
so
mom used to
there's-
say, "Around, shut the gate." When
They
she
don't-
was teaching kids how to make the letters, she would say, you know, around, shut the gate, right? So, and that's what that reminds me of.
Yeah. So there's a little on the bird is here, okay, and on this side of the bird there's a little string of like a vine with little leaves on it, and that meets up underneath the bird's feet. And so I'm not sure if I did all of the vine, but I did most of it. I haven't put the leaves on it yet. It's right here. Anyway, you'll see it in the picture. So, and then I decided, you know what, I'm going to work on the bird. I'm trying to get this where it's not annoying me. I'm going to work on the bird to make sure everything, because, you know, I wanted everything to go together right and make sure I'm not, you know, missing something. So I started working on the bird, and I got, right now it's only the head. That's because I got all the way down to the G down here and realized it was half a stitch off this way and half a stitch off this way, I think. And it doesn't really matter when it comes to the words or the upper motif, but it is going to matter because it has to meet, that side one has to meet with the feet. So I'm not going to put the leaves on the branch or anything until I finish that bird. I took it out and started what I think was correct with the branch. I'm not sure if I have the words correct or incorrect. I'm not sure where the disconnect came. I might have just counted wrong when I started the bird the first time. I'm not sure, you know, but I decided, you know what, the only time it matters is that bird with that branch, and I'm just going to make sure that they meet correctly and just call it good enough. Because nobody's going to come and examine my work and make sure that I made everything meet right. And if they do,
they're not your friend.
I don't care. Yeah. I'm doing my best, and I'm doing this as a hobby. It's not my job.
That's right.
Do I have a job? No. And then, since I'm closing in on a finish, I went ahead and purchased, oh, here's the scissors I bought. I purchased summertime berries. I got them from Cobweb Corner. Helen D is doing the berry sale. And so Cobweb Corner has a discount, HD berry. And I love that flamingo.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't opened it up to look at the patterns yet, you know, the whole thing, because you only see part of it.
Oh, the pins. Those
But
are
these
cute.
pins, oh my goodness, they are so cute.
Sunglasses and a lemon and a candy.
Pinwheel.
I thought it was a candy. I think it's candy.
It might be a candy. It looks like a lollipop.
I think it's a pinwheel, but that's okay.
The pinwheel would have points.
I don't know. Maybe, yeah.
We'll argue about what the little round thing is later. It's a candy.
So
Yeah, it's a candy.
I think it's a candy. Anyway, I just love these. Now, she didn't have Cobweb Corner. Like I said, they have a discount on the seasonal berry patterns. You have to put in a code HD berry.
There's a camper on one of them.
They're very cute.
Oh, so cute.
And I almost bought them at the attic, but I just said no. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to go see about the discount. And she had them on sale, and then the discount. So I got it less, and then I went ahead and put this on there. She did not have the pins that went with this. They were out of stock. That's okay. I didn't need to spend any more money. So
Cute.
I'm ready for the next. Well, I'm not, because I don't have fabric. Well, I could use. No, I can't. I have a blue fabric I could use for s'more something summer.
S'more summer, please, is what it says.
It does it, and then this other one said, I don't know what it says.
Summertime. One of them says living is easy. I think that's the flamingo one. I was reading in the back. And the other one says summertime.
Summertime is on antique white linen. S'more summer, please, is storm linen.
That's the blue one.
That's the one with the camper. And living
cute.
is easy on parchment.
That's the one.
That's
with
the one with the flamingo. I'm gonna do that one first. I think. I have to look and see what I have in the way of fabrics for these, but I see what I need to get. And I kept thinking about Daisy May. I looked through all my fabric. I don't have anything to do, and I'm like, oh, I need to dye some fabric. And I thought, will she go on this? No. I have another piece of fabric. It would be perfect for her. Too small.
What's Daisy May?
She's that pattern I bought, the Stitching with the Housewives with the little black bunny,
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
and the bees.
yeah.
Okay, I'm fascinated with bees right at this moment, I guess. Not real bees. Anyway, I bought this in case I just have to start it. It's called Antique Blue, 14 count Ada, Swigart from Hobby Lobby. You see the color. And it would work on that. It's not the coffee tea dyed evening blue that they did it.
18 size.
But I think it would be cute on that.
That's pretty. That would be good in my Christmas pattern. The one that I still need to dye and start.
So I may do it on that. I may dye some fabric. I should dye fabric. I enjoy dyeing fabric. Yeah. Anyway. And that's just nonsense. That's just scissors and needles. So I was scrolling through Instagram, and Maria Bravko, she's in Ukraine, and I've bought her patterns for a while now. Have a couple of hers, and she had a free pattern that you can get from her Facebook page. And I went there looking for a different one that she had on Instagram that she said was on her Facebook page. I couldn't find it. Didn't matter. I found this one.
It's so cute.
So beautiful.
Sweet.
And that's why I have this out. I thought, you know what? I think she'll look this bird would look really pretty on this yellow fabric.
Yeah.
And it's not really yellow. It's kind of a yellow green. Anyway.
Chartreuse.
And then she posted that she just finished this absolutely adorable bee.
I have those big eyes.
Look at those eyes, and he's holding a little sunflower.
You know what it reminds me of? I know what it reminds me of. I just thought of it. That movie Ants. You know the way the ants look in that movie? That's kind of what it reminds me of. Or maybe even Bugs
I love the
Life.
little socks.
Feet. Yeah.
Very, very cute.
And she wrote "Be Peaceful" underneath. And the pattern is called Be Peaceful. And
It's so beautiful.
because, you know, she's living there she said she had to do something that made her happy. And this is just so stinking cute.
Yeah.
So I saw it when she was working on it, and then I saw it today finished. She said it was available. And because she is good about putting her things on her Etsy site right away. I am not. She's in the middle of a war. She gets it up on the Etsy site right away. But I went ahead and bought it right away because I know
good to support her.
I know that she needs the money. And then Stitchy Princess said that her grandmother was talking to her about when is this war going to end. And she's like, I don't know. And she said, you know, we old people, we've lived a long time, but you guys, you want to go to the movies, you want to go on trips, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. So anyway, that is me.
That's you? Well, I have had a sort of slightly, well, I haven't done a lot of things, but I've done a lot on a couple things. So I think last week when I was here, this is my train sock, my bus knitting sock, was about here, I think. and I finished the 8 inches before the heel, which is this whole section. And then last couple of days, I knit the heel flap, which is this square piece right here. You just knit, you kind of hold off these other stitches and just knit back and forth and make a heel flap. And then with short rows, you turn the heel, and I love turning heels. I think it's so cool because you make a structure out of knitting, and I think that's neat. So you basically, because your foot's shaped that way, you do short rows and make this little heel part right here. And then, oop, I almost spilled my drink. And then you pick up stitches along both sides of that heel flap over here. You can kind of see that green line right there. That's picked up. And then you join back the ones that you had that were held here. And you just start knitting this direction. So see, it looks like it could fit a little alien face right there. So now you do some decreases. I don't know if you can see that diagonal line right here.
Oh, so that's the cuff.
This is the cuff that goes up your leg. This is the heel.
Yeah.
And this is the bottom of the foot right here. And this is the top of the foot.
Those are so cute.
And so now I'm knitting. So I did the decreases, and I'm back down to the same stitches that I had over here because there were more. And now I'm knitting this way to the toe. So I turned I finished the heel, and I decided I don't want to turn a heel and pick up stitches on the bust. So last night I turned the heel, made that, and then picked up all these stitches, and I did decrease. I finished the decreases today on the light rail. And so now I'm going this way. So that was that. But then the other thing I worked on, I don't remember, was this as far along as it was? I think this is, I think
that's
I have
further.
a little bit further on this sweater. This is my little cardigan
That
I'm
looks
making.
further to me.
Yeah, further along. And they've got more sleeve stitches in here, which is kind of cool.
Get your boo-boo knee.
This is my boo-boo knee knitting. Yeah. And I worked on it for a little while,
You
but
should hurt yourself more often. Look at that.
yeah, I know. But now it's my sleepy knitting because as soon as I start it, I seem to fall asleep. But it's basically just knitting and then increasing at the sleeve right now. So, yeah. So this is how it sits. I was trying it on the other day. Does it fit? Does it fit yet? But it's obviously it's on a wire, but anyway, I like the color. It's like purplish, bluish, purplish, grayish. So that's all I've done this week besides work and what else did I do? Oh, I did sew. And last week I didn't tell the story. I'm making these squares for that quilt, not so smart jacket. And I sewed one completely backwards. I'm going to insert a picture here because I'm supposed to put 2 triangles, a light and a dark, and then a light. So if dark is here, it's supposed to be a long dark piece, long light piece, and a light triangle. And then these 2 short pieces that are opposites. So on the dark side, I have 2 light short pieces. And on the light side, I have 2 dark short pieces. And I didn't bring one to show you. But I don't know how I did it. Just dumb. I switched the long piece. I switched the centers, the rectangular pieces. I switched them. So I sewed it all together, and I looked at it, and I was like, because it was completely wrong. I'll show you the picture. So I'm sitting here going, because it's all fused to that stupid Quilt Smart stuff. If it wasn't fused, I wouldn't have been so panicked. But then I was like, okay, wait a minute. It is fused, but it's the center panel is correctly done. It's just backwards. So I cut the interfacing down the 2 sides, and I took out the stitching, and then just whoop, switched it and sewed it back together. So I did, but at first I think it's that interfacing makes you feel panicked because it's all glued down, you know. Anyway, that was dumb. But I have gotten a little bit further on those, and I'm like, I really wanted to finish this jacket before we go to Boston at the end of April. And I don't, like, I no, because it requires me kind of hiding in my sewing room, and and my cat, he's like, jump up, I put him down. I sew a little bit. He jumps up, I put him down. I sew a little bit. I'm like, Tom, stop it. Anyway, so that was my week. I have a story from this morning. I'm like, are my days of riding the light rail over?
Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze.
No sneeze.
Try not to.
No sneeze. So I'm on the light rail, and I'm knitting like this, and I have my bag here, and we stop at a stop. The first thing that happened, not that big a deal, but I was like, I didn't get the early train because I was running late, which means on a normal day that will put me near my job at 10 minutes till 9, which means I have to hoof it to my office, get in, sit down, get logged in, get everything ready, and then we turn the phones on at 9. So it's kind of tight. So I like to get on the early train, but I missed it. So, because if I get on the early train, I'm there like 20, 30 minutes early, and it works great. But, so I was late, and we pull out of, and I also drove to the wrong station. I just missed my turn, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to this other one. So that was a mess. Anyway, we pull out of the station, and then I didn't see what happened because I was knitting, but this woman gets on, and I guess we were stopped at a light, but I was sitting right by the driver. He opens the door, and he's like, hey, 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 and I thought he was talking to me, but he was trying to get the attention of this woman who had just gotten on. And he sits there and he lectures her about, I'm on a time crunch, but I stopped because I didn't want you to miss the train, but I stopped for you. But in the future, And I was like, then why did you stop? And I'm like, I'm on a time crunch too. So he gets back in his little box. Okay. So he's kind of, like, I've never seen a driver do that. Like, either you miss the train or you don't. It's not a bus. Like, buses will stop for people like that, but I didn't imagine trains would.
Well, and if he's on such a time crunch, what is he stopping to lecture?
Exactly,
to lecture her?
Well, I think we were stopped at a light, which is why he did it, because he was completely out. He was, like, leaning out of his little box.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. But it's like there's one row and then me from the door. Mm-hmm. So I'm really close to his door. All right, so then I'm knitting. And the next, I don't know, a couple stops later, this guy gets on. A few people get on. And one of them is a guy, and he is loudly talking and cussing and yelling. And he sits down right in front of me. And he turns sideways in his seat. And he's yelling at me. And he's like, effing this and, that. And we're going to lock your A up. And all this stuff. And he's right in my face. Yeah. But he's not really, because he's cray-cray, okay? He's either high or crazy. He looks clean, but he's just, and he was showing me his ID, I don't know. And then later I saw him talking into his driver's license like it was a walkie-talkie or something. But he is like from me to you, close to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm just sitting there knitting. And I'm even afraid to pull my yarn because I thought, I didn't want to move my arms. Mm-hmm. I was trying to make myself small. Mm. And I'm like, I'm thinking, okay, just before he got on, I remembered that there was a sign on the train wall that said, download this app, and that way you can report things easily with this app. And I was like, I never downloaded that app. And I remember thinking, what if something really bad happened on the train? Mm-hmm. Like, what if, I was on the train when someone came on with a gun, or, I don't know. I was just kind of, how you muse those things. Yeah. And then this guy gets on, and he's yelling. And then, so I'm sitting there knitting, not making eye contact, keeping my head down. I had my headphones in, but he kept asking me questions, and I didn't really hear him because I had my music on. But I was kind of listening to him, but he kept saying, I could tell he was saying, "Do you hear me? Do you all this stuff?" And I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? And I'm like, I could reach back and knock on the door for the driver, but I don't want to move. Like, I was really afraid to move in any way, and I was afraid to make eye contact with him. And I wanted to move to like one of the back rows, but I was just afraid because I thought if I do anything, I don't know if I'm going to set him off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my phone is in my purse, and I have my headphones attached to it. So I was thinking I could just reach in and pull it out, quietly.
Uh-huh.
But I was still so scared to move. And then at one point he started yelling at the woman across the aisle that they had gotten on with him, but I could tell she was like turning away from him, like not looking at him too. And so when he did that, I turned around to see, like, am I really as close as I think to the driver? And I was like, I am. Okay. And then I turned back, and then he started kind of talking to me again, yelling at me again, and I was like, oh, what am I going to do? And then we stopped, and as soon as we stopped, I hear the driver opening the door, and he's got his arm out the window, and he's telling him, get off. And there were officers on the platform.
So he had heard everything.
So somebody or someone else had called, or I don't know, but or maybe they knew from when he got, because it was like one stop that he was, one stop's length, and they kicked him off. And then he gets out. The driver though, he gets out of his little box and he comes to me. Are you okay? Do you need anything? And I was like, no, I'm fine. Get in the thing and drive. I'm late to work. I'm like, thank you, I'm fine. I'm fine. So then we go a couple more stops, and so we had the stop for the lady, we had the stop for the crazy guy, and we go a couple more stops, and it's a driver change, which that's happened before, but usually they just go whoop whoop, right? So this guy's getting out, and he walks by me, and he touches my shoulder, and I think he's going to say, are you okay again? And I pull my headphones out, and I'm like, what? And he goes, if you have time later today, could you put a kindness or like a report that he was extra nice to me or something? And I was like, are you kidding me? Get off the train so that we can go. I mean, is that why you were nice to me? So that I give you a good rating?
No, but probably when things like that happen, people complain a lot.
Maybe, I don't know, but I was kind of like, no. You're making me late, and I was so late. I got off the train, and it was like 58, 59. And I'm like, no, I don't like being late. So I had to text my manager. I guess I really am going to be late now.
Well, what? I tried to ride the bus at when I lived, when I was working downtown, and well, I think I talked about this last week, how it would just take me forever because, Sheldon says, we kept stopping to let other people off.
I know. Well, it's just surface buses are one thing, but we would get to the train, the trade, we changed buses, and then we would sit there and wait for the driver to get on board. Yeah.
And so and sometimes the driver was like, I don't know, really, really late. Yeah. And it's if the bus left when it said it was supposed to, according to the schedule, then I'd be on time. Well, but then the driver, is in there, I don't know, going to the bathroom, drinking coffee or whatever, doing the whatever. Yeah. And so the people are sitting on the bus just. Do
you remember when the light rail, when they started with the light rail, that they had a real problem with the homeless basically living on the bus?
Well, yeah, because the problem is you just walk on. Yeah. There's no way. You're
supposed to pay, but there's nobody making sure you did.
Yeah, and they come through and look at your tickets, and they kick you off if you don't have one, but you've already ridden across the city. So I but I was mostly concerned about being late. And then I was telling my coworkers about what happened, and both of them were like, "Yeah, I'm afraid to ride the light rail." And I was like, "Oh, it's all right."
I've never set foot on the light rail,
but
the bus here either.
But then when I was going home, there was a couple of guys hovering around. They were fine. They were harmless. But you know how you just get your hackles up. Mm-hmm. And I called Mark, and I was like, "Since gas is going back down, I may kind of rethink the whole light rail thing." Now, if I'm working 9 to 5, I can ride the express bus, and it's pleasant, and you stop one place, you get off somewhere else, and it's totally a different vibe and a different constituents, and you have to pay a lot of money to get on that bus. So it's a little better, you know. I don't feel so weird. So I don't know. I may still ride it to jury duty. I'm not sure, but
I would
was
ride it
kinda
to jury duty. There's no place to park there.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, I have a parking garage thing.
That's true.
Downtown.
Is it
but-
for that one that's real close to the courthouse?
No, it's close to the Symphony Hall where I park.
You guys have no idea. But in downtown Phoenix, the courthouse is next to a parking garage that is for the courthouse.
Yeah, well, actually, it's a different courthouse. Rachel and I went down. Oh, that's what we did on Monday. Rachel
yeah?
and I had a dry run because she'd never ridden the light rail before either. So I was like, let me show you the ropes. But so we went down. It was nice. We went down there and we walked. This is the federal court building, which I'd never. It's right across from where when Hannah graduated. But I still don't remember looking at it. It's a giant white courthouse. Maybe it wasn't. Yeah, but that's a different one than I've been to before. I've been to like the district court or the Maricopa County or something. This is federal court. I'd never been to federal court. Anyway, so we went down there.
Oh, that's not that one on Madison? Or?
Yeah, no, it's different.
No,
I'm
it's
telling you.
different one.
I've done jury duty at the other ones. I've never been to this one before because we walked up to it and I'm like, just this giant white building. I was like, I've never laid eyes
I'm
on this
sure
before.
in every big city in the country, there's no parking downtown.
Yeah. So I mean,
and there's not even any street parking, with a meter or any. Really, you in most
There's
areas,
some. There's some.
Yeah, there's not a lot at all because it's so busy.
Yeah.
That they don't want anybody trying to pull into traffic.
Yeah.
There's
garages around and stuff, but I probably will ride it for jury duty. I think I don't know, but I was just kind of like maybe this whole day to day maybe. If gas is going down, it's under $5 again. Oh, yay. I'm like, maybe I'll just drive. Park in my garage. So, but I was like, this is quite uncomfortable.
When I was driving Uber, I was downtown. There's been a couple of times. One time it was in, not downtown Scottsdale, but very close to downtown Scottsdale. There was a guy that was stepping in and out of the street, just kind of yelling to himself, talking to himself, yelling to himself. And I called and said, he's going to be killed. Somebody has to come and get him out of the street.
Yeah.
But driving downtown, I was coming to a light, and there was a guy yelling and talking to himself. And I really do have a heart that these people often have no help.
Nobody looking after them.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, mental illness is a serious issue in this country because you don't want to lock up people who shouldn't be locked up because they have a mental illness.
Yeah.
They're not criminals, usually. But this guy, the light changed, and he was still standing in the middle of the intersection yelling at me. And he was yelling at the cars in general, not just me. But he would not get out of the intersection. We actually had to wait through a whole nother cycle of lights before he finally cleared the sidewalk. The crosswalk. And I'm not going to call on somebody like that. He wasn't he wasn't threatening anybody. He was just and he wasn't endangering himself, although there might have been somebody crazy who wanted to just go, because I've seen instances where drivers are just, somebody's crossing, some like old lady or something, and then we see that the other day, crossing, limping across, and somebody just cannot wait for them to get out of the way before they go.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? You may have a light, it may be your light, but they have the right of way. They're in the crosswalk.
Yeah.
You can't turn yet.
Yeah. I think I may have. I don't know if I told the story that one day, maybe I did, that I was at the near my house at a gas station, and on the sidewalk, there's a little wall that walls in. There's a wall between the the gas station and the berm, and then there's the sidewalk and then the street. And so I was just gassing up, and I was standing outside my car, and I see a gentleman on the sidewalk, and he's yelling at the cars and yelling at the air and walking around. Typical sort of, behavior that you see. But what was incongruous was that he was completely dressed like a businessman. He had on a button-up shirt, he had on nice slacks, and I thought, something's doesn't make sense. And all I could think of was this poor man had some kind of mental break, and his wife is at home going, where is he? Because he didn't look like somebody who'd been on the streets for 5 years or whatever, even, a month. He looked like someone who walked out of an office and is having a very serious problem. So I was I talked to the guy who was gassing up next to me. I'm like, something's not right. And then as I was pulling out to go home, I pulled out of the driveway and I looked down and I saw, that's what made me call, and this is a weird thing, but I have a thing about shoes. And I saw his shoes, and his shoes were very nice dress shoes. And I thought, something's wrong. So as I turned down the street, I called 911 and I said, this gentleman obviously needs help. Someone needs to do a welfare check on him. And they were like, where is he? But the problem is that particular intersection, one side of the street is Chandler, the other side is Tempe. And they were like, well, I'm going to call Tempe, but is he in Tempe or is he in Chandler? I'm like, I don't know. He's on this corner, but I think I saw him crossing the street to the other corner, which might still be I don't know. But they had two different police departments.
I've had people with Uber. I had people go, now I don't understand. Where are we? Is this Phoenix or is it Tempe or Chandler? Where are we?
Like, yes.
And I was like, well, okay, the airport is in Phoenix, but if you cross the thing, it's in Tempe.
And you're sitting at a light and you say you're in Tempe right now, but if you go over there, you're going to be in Chandler.
And if you keep going, then you're in Mesa or Gilbert.
Right.
But if you go that way, then you're in Levine, and because Phoenix is very big, but it's a lot of smaller cities.
When I worked when I was in Little Rock and I worked at Family Life, one of the things we did was we had mayor's conferences all over the place. And so we had one in...
what did you say? Mayor's conferences?
Marriage.
Oh, marriage conferences.
And it sounded like mayor's conference.
But we... so we had one in Scottsdale, at some resort or something in Scottsdale. And so this lady called me because the conference was I guess was kind of full. We had a waiting list or something like that. And so I was talking to this lady on the phone, and she was trying to get her daughter and the daughter's fiance or something like that into this conference. And I said, well, I'm sorry, but it's full. And so she was panicking because they had already asked for the time off from work and this and that and the other. And she told me they were coming in from out of town, so they already and they they needed to get a hotel room and this whatever, blah blah blah. So I put her on hold, and I spoke to this girl that was in charge of the wait list, whatever. And I said, told her the situation. She goes, oh yeah, okay, I can, we can squeeze them in, whatever. So I got back on the phone with this lady, and by now you guys lived here, and but so I was familiar with the area, but she, so I said, okay, well, so I started to get her the address information for the daughter and the fiance, and so she's telling me, in Scottsdale, like one of them lived in Mesa and one of them lived in Tempe or something like that. And I almost laughed in her face because like that's not out of town. That's the same town. That's across the street.
It might take an hour, but still.
Well,
but I don't know. I don't know how familiar she was with the area, but I was like,
my Aunt Alice, when we were living in Chandler, my Aunt Alice used to come up from El Paso to go see her daughter, my cousin, who lives in Peoria. Now, Peoria, from where we lived, about an hour.
Yeah.
45 minutes, an hour. But it is still the same town. It's both, they're all Greater
It's the
Phoenix
Greater Phoenix area, yeah.
Valley
And-
of the Sun.
Yeah. Now, she was driving from El Paso, so she'd already would have been on the road for a while. Not horrendously long, but a while. But she wanted to stop and spend the night at my house whenever she would do this because it was so far from my house then to Peoria.
Yeah.
And I would be like, why don't you just stop and have dinner and then go on?
Yeah.
No, I just want to spend the night. Okay. And I mean, she was my aunt, so, okay. But it was, and I always loved it when my aunt came because she would clean my house.
Oh my god.
She was like a little whirling dervish.
Yeah,
that's
true. That is very true.
Yeah. But it wasn't, she goes, no, it's so far.
It feels like it though.
But back then the 202 didn't go around the mountain and it was,
Hard.
I hated when I was driving Uber and the 202 wasn't
It's always hard to go to the west side.
Took forever to get home from there, and I'm like, oh god, I'm going to Glendale.
I know, but
No.
you get over there, it's like culture shock. Like, it feels so different. Like, everything looks different. It just, like, I feel like the sun is hotter on the west side of town. That's just me. I feel like it's hotter over there.
One time I was driving around in Peoria, and I got a request for a ride that was going to be 3 hours north. I said, I'm not going to Sedona today.
Yeah.
No, reject.
Yeah.
And, it would have been a nice fare, but I wouldn't have been able to get a ride coming back.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
You know,
I
there's
used to take fares that took me to Tucson,
Yeah.
but that's only an hour.
When you were talking about parking at the courthouse, in Little Rock, there was a case where this man was like circling around the courthouse building, and so the police were very suspicious, and I guess he circled around the building a few times, and then he parked in front, and he had all this like wires and tools and
I
things
thought he
like
was
that
just looking for parking for
in
jury
his
duty.
car, and they were afraid he was like there to bomb the building or set off a bomb.
No.
And so they like surrounded his car, and when he came out, they detained him. And he was looking for a place to park, but he had gone around the building a few times, and then he finally found one, and he parked, and he just had a bunch of stuff in his his car because he was like a handyman or something like that.
I'm just here for jury duty. I have no place to park.
I had a woman that wanted to go to that courthouse we were talking about, right? And I'd never been inside the courthouse, to the courthouse, near the courthouse. Now, I had been called for jury duty a couple times, but I didn't have to go. And so...
I was going to say, how did you get out of it?
I don't know, I just called up and they said, we don't need you. So, she said, well, I want to be dropped where I don't have to go up any stairs. And I knew on the east side of the building, there were stairs. So I said, well, I'm not really sure, but I can drop you on this side, on the west side of the building. I'm not sure what's there. So I dropped her off, and I was starting to pull out, and she comes running back to my car, that she didn't want to be dropped off there because there were too many stairs. Okay, so she got back in my car, mind you, still the same trip. She wanted me to not charge her more. I dropped off in the front thing where the pay things are. I said, ma'am, I can't just keep driving you around the building.
We'll find a ramp.
Yeah. I'm sure there's handicap places somewhere. Walk. Because
if you can run to my car, I think you can walk to a ramp.
Well, and you can get in trouble for stopping here and there.
Yeah.
You can't on where I was telling you where that car park is, the garage, there's no place to pull over to let somebody out. And that's usually where they want to be let out because they're used to parking here and walking across this way. That's what they know. And it's like, okay, but you better be ready to run out of my car because I can pause.
Like,
The
just
traffic
do
is
tuck
a
and roll.
rolling stop. Yeah, because the traffic is so busy
It's awful.
there that
And now
you cannot pause.
I think it's all torn up. I haven't even been down there. When we were looking for this courthouse, I was imagining the one I'd been to before, and then we found it, and I was like, well, that's the right courthouse, but that I have never laid eyes on it. Even when Hannah graduated across the street, I don't think I ever actually acknowledged that there was a building, a giant white building. So I'm like, okay, this isn't what I was remembering. I was remembering a completely different courthouse, and it's true. I think I'd done, like maybe the county or Superior Court of Maricopa County or something like that. Anyway, so I haven't even been down there where that other one is. I think it's all torn up the last time, because Central is a mess now. I know because I tripped and fell there.
I went
knows?
to do jury duty when I was in Phoenix. I mean, when I was in Little Rock, and I went to the federal court. But of course, Little Rock is a very small town compared to Phoenix. It's like, at the time I lived there, I think in the city itself, I think it was like maybe 200,000 people. And
We're in the millions.
yeah, and so it's a very different story downtown. But I did park downtown, and I remember there was some big questionnaire, and this case that was there in Arkansas, whatever. And so I filled out the little questionnaire, and so I think I was called for this trial, but it was like several weeks away or whatever. It was sometime coming up, right? And so I was okay with it, and this it'll probably last so many weeks and blah blah blah. So I was going to do it, but then we had planned some kind of I think it was when we went camping in Sedona. It was a group thing. So my mom and dad were going, and her family was going, and her family was going, and so we were all going to meet in Sedona in like July or June or something like that. And so the trial was supposed to be like in April or May or something. And so, the timing was going to work out, but then they of course delayed it for several weeks, and I was like, okay, that's not going to work. And so I kind of like, I had a family vacation, or we're all coming from out of town, and so they said, okay,
Really out of town.
Yeah, really.
For real out of town.
Yeah, so they excused me from it, and so I ended up not having to do it. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Wow. I don't think that would fly here. But I was about to get sat on a grand jury, which is you have to report every day for like a month and hear grand jury cases, and then I guess you decide if it qualifies for a case. I don't know, for an actual trial. But I had just started up at Arizona Music Fest, and there's like 6 people in the office, and we were about to launch we had already launched the season. We were about to go on sale, and I was the only person in the box office. And so my boss was like, please tell them it will negatively impact your job. So I did, and they let me out of it. But I was like, I cannot do that. Like,
Did you guys, excuse me, a floss tube related question.
Yes, we should get back. Yeah.
Do you guys ever have like certain colors of DMC thread that tangle more than other colors? I have a devil of a time with black.
Yeah.
It tangles and knots and knots and tangles, and it's like,
I wonder if it's the...
And I stitch with it like twice, and then another knot. And I stitch with it a
man.
couple times, and another knot. And yeah, okay, I have it like this right now, but that's not... And I keep like, trying to get all the little twists out of it and all this stuff.
Maybe it's
and
something
it's
to do
still
with the dyeing process.
Knots constantly. It drives me bananas.
Well, take him to court.
Yeah.
I'll sit on the jury for you.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
oh,
hope
come
I don't have
on.
jury duty. I really hope so.
Well, in this, since we started this video, I started this thread, right?
Yeah.
And it's knotted like 6 times.
Oh no.
Yeah. And sometimes it's real easy to pull out.
I don't
Other
think I've had
times,
that
you know, it just won't come out. There's one time with this black thread, I just said, forget it, and I cut it.
problem.
And it's just that kind of loop that comes, you know, from it twisting around.
And it knots itself. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy to get out sometimes, but yeah, there's a couple of times that I've like, ugh.
It could be the twist.
The
on
white
it.
seems to do that a
What I
lot
have
too.
what I have a problem with is hooking my finger on it and pulling the thread out from the
Oh.
eye. It, you know, because I
That's because you have spider fingers.
yeah. Well,
Velcro.
I have you know, two different extremes, I guess. I could use a smaller needle that has a smaller eye, and so especially since I'm stitching with just one thread, and but they're hard. It's harder to thread because the eye is narrower. And this this needle, the eye is bigger, and so the thread is looser, but it means it comes out of the eye more easily. But I like it better because I don't like pulling it out, but I mean, you know, when it pulls out of the needle.
Yeah.
But you know, because I like I said, I tend to hook it with my finger, like just.
Yeah.
As I pull it under, so yeah, so.
Oh, I was gonna say I started. I think I mentioned last week that I started listening to a podcast by the company Nitpicks. They sell all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, you told us.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, so I started listening to that last week, and they have like 300 something episodes. But I went back to episode 1, and I'm just listening through, But one of the things, like everybody that they've introduced, well, first of all, I would love to work in a place like that. During meetings, they sit around in it. But everyone that they've introduced has a different story of how they started and why they started. But like almost all of them are like, it took me 2 years to finish a sweater. I don't know why I tell people I'll knit things for them. I really shouldn't do that anymore because it just takes me forever. And I just decided, or like I have mindless knitting for meetings, I have complicated knitting, and then I have that I have to sit down and focus on, and then I have this kind of knitting and that, like, so I have like 4 or 5 projects going. I always have a pair of socks. But it's so I was like, I found my people. I found my people. Like I have felt so at peace about all my projects that are taking me forever. I feel so at peace about it. I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one. I know this is from 2007, this podcast, but you know, I just like, oh, okay, okay. It's okay to have 15,000 projects going at once, and to have things that sit in bags for 2 years, or you know, kind of thing. So. Anyway,
Yeah, I've seen.
I gotta stop beating myself up.
A lot of people who say, you know, like they do one project and finish it before they start the next one, and you know, I think I used to be that way.
Yeah.
But then like I got to where like I'd work on one for a long time, and then I kind of set it aside and like ooh, and I start that one and I work for a long time, and so that's why I have as many WIPs as I have.
Exactly. Well, and for knitting, you know, there's like I've said in the past, like there's knitting where I have to have the pattern here, and I'm counting, and I'm looking, and I can't do that everywhere. I can't take my iPad to the doctor's office and have it on my lap. I've tried it actually, and it's no fun. So I need something like this that's just knit that keeps my hands busy, but I don't have to focus on. But that's also why last night I sat with the heel turn and focused on it so that because I'm like, I can't do that on the bus, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, but.
So I got frustrated because my project's naughty, so I put it aside. I was looking at the patterns. Remember I said, I haven't even taken it out. This has a little boat. The one with the flamingo.
It has a boat. Oh,
It has a little boat. It's got a glass with an umbrella. It's got flip flops.
That's fun.
It is so cute. And then
I wish they had full pictures.
yeah, I
Better
think
than
that they
the
should.
very
I think they
pictures.
should have full pictures so that you know what you're getting. The S'more Summer Please is literally just a camper and some trees.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Oh, that's pretty.
And
The
then
moon.
the blue one.
The summertime. Yeah, the
Yeah.
blue and white one.
Yeah, it's just the words, just
Good
like
old-
that.
Good old
Summertime.
summertime.
Yeah, just like the green one that I
Yeah.
did.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's
That's going to be fun.
gonna be fun. But man, I was looking at the threads. There is a boatload of threads in
Oh,
this.
boy.
Yeah.
Well, we better go because
Yes.
my little boy, who's not a big boy, is coming home for dinner and spend the night tonight. We're going to a concert tomorrow. We're going to go hear the Beatles. Well, not the Beatles, obviously. We're going to
Music
hear
of the Beatles.
Phoenix Symphony with a thing to the Beatles. They're going to have a screen with like photos and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
And I saw the playlist today, and it looks pretty good. Lots of good
One of the
songs.
concerts we did was with a Beatles tribute band. They
Yeah,
big
that's what it
Beatles
is.
impersonators.
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of.
Well, these
Was
guys.
this-
I don't think these guys are impersonators.
Those guys that we went to see with you.
Music Fest.
Oh my gosh, they were
good.
so
I wonder
good.
if it's the same. I don't know who it is. I haven't even looked. But my boss gave us really good seats down
Oh, yeah.
front in the center.
That's nice.
I was
Yeah.
thinking that if Dad's up to it, that Dad and I will go to the concert.
Oh, okay.
with
Next
Beth,
for
just
Richie
rather
April.
than driving back and forth
Well,
like
that's
you do.
good. That would be fun.
Yeah.
I think I want to start on this bee.
That's so cute. That's so cute. I want to go home and sew.
I am on. Oh, I
I need
still
to
have
sew.
the one color, but
You didn't finish it on camera. It's okay.
It's right. Yeah.
All right. Well, we hope you guys have a great week. Be
Stitch
safe
more
out
bees.
there.
Stitch more bees.
Yeah. Be
Oh.
safe out there on the light rails.
Yes.
This
Oh.
little.
Oh,
I'm going to talk about this just briefly. This little tea set thing used to be, I think it's from my grandmother's house in Central New
Silver
Mexico.
City.
Mexico,
Yeah,
Silver City.
my
area.
mother's mother. This little tea set. It's in this. You can't see it, but there's a china cabinet here that came from her house, and this was
It's so pretty.
We've had it. You know,
where there's a neighborhood
garage
sale tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning, and so we've been going through taking, what we want to do, and I saw this little set, and I said, oh, "It's so cute."
We're not giving it away.
No,
We're not selling it.
no,
We're
it's
just
too cute.
display. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I just saw it there, and I thought, that should get some air.
Yeah. It's so pretty. I loved seeing it today. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for all of our new viewers and all of
Yes.
our subscribers.
Yes.
We're so happy and excited, and we hope we keep you guys engaged with all our nonsense. And we will see
Tell your
you
friends.
next week.
Yes.
And it'll almost be April.
I know.
Wait,
I'm-
no. It will be April.
I'm having to
Yeah.
resist putting Easter stuff out.
It will be April.
Yeah, it'll be
April 1st is Friday? No?
It's soon. It's very soon.
Yeah.
Monday is the 28th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it will be April when we see you again.
Yes.
So, happy end of March. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.